Hey, how's it, everyone? It is 5 p.m. West Coast time, 3 p.m. Hawaii time, and 8 p.m. on the East Coast. I'm Mad Statter, and it is time for Chatter with Statter. Looks like Rick is already in the house, holding down the fort, making sure everything's going on. Hey, Rick, I haven't done the tech check, so what's going on? What's going on with our gear, Mr. Man? Do we have a gear? Are we able to downgrade? Are we able to upgrade? Well, we probably can't upgrade because 720 is what we are broadcasting at today. But it looks like it is 720 with no downgrade. Shock also in the house. All right, so if things are twitchy, I'm sorry, folks. There's no way to downgrade, which is very frustrating. Last night at Statterbox at the cinema, we were blessed with the downgrade, which I guess is good, so people could tune in for the movie. And the movie, if you remember, or if you were not there last night, was Napoleon Dynamite. Cute little family-friendly film. Next week on Statterbox at the cinema, we are going to watch Roll Bounce. But in the meantime, I want to say hello to the folks who are hanging out in the Statterbox already. We've got Kenny from the Cove, Rick before, checking with the tech, Chalk also checking with the tech, and it looks like we've got Pacola T also here right now. And I'm hoping a couple other people will be showing up once Andy is done with his show. I gotta say, I didn't really want to leave because I really like cereal, and you guys were talking about cereal, and I think you know that when we get started talking about food, that's when the chatter really starts. And so we might be taking over that cereal conversation once everybody comes on over to the Statter box here. But and that's okay. We don't have to talk about cereal, actually, because we've got a couple other topics we can talk about. I managed to get a video in today, and so not only filming, but actually recording it. So the video that we're going to watch later this afternoon, not only is it hot off the presses, it is literally, it is today. It is the reality of today as we know it. And that's right, Pacola T. It'll be a cereal conversation. I like it. All right, twist my arm. Hey, Kalika 1965, good to see you. We are considering carrying on the conversation from Daily Pigeon Live, what with the cereal talk. It'll be a cereal. And I'll tell you, yeah, Cocoa Pebbles, as I mentioned before, are my favorite cereal little bits. Now, Cocoa Pebbles are not to be confused with Cocoa Krispies. Cocoa Krispies, which are the chocolate flavored version of Rice Krispies, are inferior. Period. End of story. Fight me. That's just how it goes. Not only do they have less chocolate flavor, their puffed rice is too puffy, and the pebbles are more crunchy, and they're more pebble-like, and they have a richer chocolate flavor. And the best thing about Cocoa Pebbles is you don't have to buy the name brand Cocoa Pebble, which is super expensive, but it does have the cute Flintstones box, so there's a give and a take there. But if you buy the malto meal kind in the bag, which is super cheaper, way super cheaper, because super cheaper is it's grammatically correct, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Not only does it taste as good as Cocoa Pebbles, I actually think it tastes a little bit better than Cocoa Pebbles. It's a little bit chocolatier, but that could just be my perception, which is perhaps faulty, but maybe I'm just convincing myself the cheaper one tastes better. But I definitely think that Cocoa Pebbles, the generic multi-meal Cocoa Pebbles, are the superior of all of the chocolate rice cereals. And it looks like Kenny from the Cove, Captain Crunch, all flavors were your jam as a kid. You were a real cereal killer. No doubt. Yeah, Saturday morning cartoons with a huge bowl of cereal. I really like Captain Crunch, but Captain Crunch, like Andy mentioned, had to be eaten carefully. I liked to let it sit for a minute, so the outer part was just a little bit mushy, but the inside was still crispy. That way you'd still get the crunch, but you wouldn't end up bleeding from the roof of your mouth. And let's see here, Kuluka, you love you some oatmeal, old school, not quick, but quick cook. But what about sugar corn pops? One of my childhood faves. Oh, sugar corn pops. Yeah, those were super good. And I actually really liked honeycombs, which of all the cereals that we're talking about right now, honeycomb is probably like um the least sweet. But yeah, the honeycomb I really liked. Corn pops though. Oh, I forgot about corn pops. Oh, I might have to go out and buy some corn pops. I almost wish that you didn't mention that because, oh, corn pops. And let's see here, Picola Tea. There's a place in Las Vegas, Planet Hollywood, called Serial Killer's Kitchen. What a concept. Is it, Picola? I didn't know, I didn't need to know this. Picola Tea, are you telling me that there's a place in Las Vegas that has like all of these cereals? Like the corn pops, et cetera, et cetera. Get back to me on this because right now it looks like we have got a raid from Andy Bumatai coming in. C Honda in the house. Let's see here. Thomas the Turtle coming in. Darlene. Rick's already been here, but hello again, Rick. Andy, you're probably busy doing stuff, but in case you're here already, hey, good to see you. And let's see here. Who else? We got Medium 7 Up coming in. You guys, I'm so sorry to be such a hanger-on, such a uninspired host, but we're continuing the topic of cereal. It's, as Picola T said, it's a cereal today on the 3-hour tour because cereal. I wanted to hang around and talk about cereal, but I had this show I had to do. So speaking of this show I had to do, welcome Raiders, and let's get the party started. Okay, fantastic. Thank you guys for coming in on the raid. Thank you, Andy, for raiding Chatter with Statter here every Sunday and Wednesday, 5 p.m. West Coast time. That might be changing in the future. We'll probably talk about that later on. Maybe later on this stream. With the time change, first off, I'm not even sure when the time is changing, so I need to figure that out. And yeah, we need to figure something out. But we're not going to talk about that right now. Right now, we're going to talk about cereal again, still, constantly, because that's what we do here at Chatter with Statter. We talk about food. And Kulika, you'd forgotten about sugar honeycomb. That was super ono. Yeah, it was sort of like the same sort of flavor as the Alphabets cereal. Like that frosted oat, but like the texture was just all fluffier, if that's a way to put it. And let's see here. Yeah, Kenny, exactly. It sounds like there is a woeful lack of cereal bar restaurants in this country, but it sounds like Picola Tea knows because you can get custom bowls of your choices of cereal there. And good to see you, Andre. Thanks for coming in on the raid. And Darlene, you cheat sometimes with granola and almond milk, but not too often. Yeah, well, Darlene, your granola is the bomb. And if anybody wants to, oh gosh, let's see if I can do this. If anybody wants to get in on Darlene's, oh no, hold on. If anybody wants to get in on Darlene's granola action, I actually have her recipe and posted up on my Discord channel. I am going to post my Discord link in a little bit, but right now I'm going to say thank you so much, Terry in Scotland, for continuing your subscriptions. And and let's see here, Andre. Yeah, it's funny that prepackaged cereal started out as a health food, but once you pack that sugar bomb in there, and it starts getting delicious, not so much of a health food. And I do remember my mom used to try to get me to eat healthy cereal like Cheerios and things like that. But she saw that I would end up like pouring, so much sugar in it that there'd be like a sugar sludge at the bottom of the bowl. So she just gave up on that one. And Kenny from the Cove, cereal fits perfectly into the breakfast for dinner paradigm. It does. And that's I think what I was saying earlier that has brain tattooed Andy, and honestly, cereal for any meal, a snack, breakfast, dinner. I mean, it's just the easiest thing to do, you know? Hey, Vanilla Coke Pepsi, how you doing? Good to see you. We are right now talking about our favorite types of breakfast cereal. And so I don't know what your favorite types are, but we've so far been listing off Cocoa Pebbles, Honeycomb, Corn Pops. Then there's, of course, the Sugar Honey Crisp, which was super good. And yeah, basically everything that's going to rot your teeth out is how kids in the 70s started their mornings. It's pretty much how that works. And Andre, ice cereals becoming ice cream topping, Fruity Pebbles especially. Yeah, it's funny you should say that. Cocoa Pebbles, because I don't do the Fruity Pebbles, but Cocoa Pebbles on top of vanilla ice cream, the textures work really good together. They really, really do work good together. You're just plain old cornflakes. Well, you know what? Okay, so do you eat the cornflakes plain, Vanilla Coke Pepsi, or do you eat them the way you're supposed to, which is with brown sugar? Or I suppose maybe you coat them in maple syrup. No, but curious, do you eat them plain or not? When I do like cornflakes, but I like to put brown sugar on them. Brown sugar with, you're so full of it. With water. You are so full of it. I don't believe you for 1 second, Vanilla Coke Pepsi. Not for 1 second. Not for 1 second. Not for 1 second. If you said that you had your cornflakes with maple syrup, I'd believe you more than if you say with water. Who even eats cereal? Everybody eats cereal, silly kitten. All right. And then Kenny from the Cove. Exactly. Apple Jacks. Apple Jacks are good. Apple Jacks, though, similar fate to Captain Crunch, although not nearly as much, with the mouth problems, the tearing of the skin in the mouth. At least they always did for me. And Fruit Loops too. Fruit Loops, Apple Jacks, and Captain Crunch were the worst offenders for that. And let's see here. Andre, you were brought up healthy by your mom, and when you got to spend the night over a friend's house and almost removed your palate, what, too much sugar or something? Let's see here. Darlene, you remember Apple Jacks, and what'd you say, Pacola Tea? You lost our argument with mom that Apple Jacks were sort of healthy. It's got apple in the name, Mom. What are you talking about? So let's see here. Kehalani, okay, so good to see you. Now you're saying German or Swiss granola with berries. Now that is very delicious. And as I've mentioned earlier, Darlene's got some good granola, and I'll be hooking you up with the recipe in just a minute. But what makes German granola German? What makes Swiss granola Swiss? I mean, I just think of granola as granola, and clearly I don't know. So, maybe a plain for someone like me who is curious and kind of confused. Let's see here. So, Michael Anthony Smith, you like Count Chocula? Count Chocula is really good, but as you know, sort of hard to find. And Kulika, you still mix wheat, corn, rice Chex with the nuts and the hot butter sauce. Oh God, the classic Chex mix. I don't like it extra spicy, but I do. But the classic old school, all these new founded, the ranch and the cheddar and the whatever. No, I want the old fashioned kind from the 1950s and 60s and 70s. Right. Yeah. Let's see here. Okay, so Terry in Scotland, Swiss muesli is good stuff. So now, is Swiss muesli different than granola? Because I always kind of thought they were the same. So, I'm very curious now, about that. And let's see here. Andre, you liked going over to Grandma and Grandpa's and the variety pack of cereals. Yeah, and you could make, I think, what was it? Yeah, Pacola Tea. You could use the box as the bowl. That was so awesome. That was so flippin' awesome. Really, Nani Aloha, Apple Jacks, and Nani Aloha coming in with some nice music trivia. Apple Jacks, only cereal that had Jackson 545s on the back of the box. I do remember that there used to be singles on the back of like cereal boxes or in the cereal box. And they were so, they weren't the typical record material. They were kind of flexible. Flexi discs, I guess is what they're called. And they never played right. I mean, at least on my record player, they never played right. They just got warped too easy or something. Um, but Terry, I thought, okay, wow, you guys, I really don't know what granola is. I thought that most granola is oatmeal based. So yeah, now I'm confused. So granola, some ingredients different as well as sweetener or not European. Oh, European generally doesn't have a sweetener to it. Okay, well Darlene's does, but you could probably omit that if need. Um, so let's see here. Okay, while you guys are busy talking about pancakes, I'm gonna see if I can do my thing and then do my thing. And then let's see here. Hopefully I can do my thing. So, okay. All right, you guys, let's see if I did my thing. Okay, that's the invitation, I think, maybe, I hope, to the Discord. And it should take you right to the Darlene's granola recipe page. Because that's the page everybody basically needs, is the Darlene's granola recipe page. And the Darlene's granola recipe page is encouraged to post all the little variations and tweaks and personalizations you've done to the recipe, because this recipe is delicious, but basically also written in such a way that you can do what you want with it. There's a lot of choose your own adventure ingredient choices basically in the recipe. So, like she says, nuts. Well, pick a nut, and, dried fruit, pick a dried fruit. So you can do things like that. And let's see here. So, yeah. Is that, oh God. Okay. Picola tea. That's what Andre was talking about by ruining his palate. Right. With the, with the horrible mouth injuries that so many cereals left behind. And I guess you're right. If Apple Jacks tore up your palate, imagine now it busted up a 45 record. That's exactly it. So yeah, Darlene. So Darlene's saying that you have to be good with your sugars, explaining to Vanilla Coke Pepsi. So no eat pancakes too much either, trying to be healthy and follow doctor's orders. First off, good for you. But honestly though, seriously, you cannot tell me that a pancake with maple syrup, I mean, that's a cake. That might as well be dessert. Okay, well, English as a first language is kind of hard, I guess. But just like why I eat Cocoa Pebbles is not a cereal to start a day with. Just like pancakes. Pancakes isn't really something to start a day with. They're delicious, but they're more of a dessert to me. Like they're breakfast dessert. Like after you've had your, after you've had your bacon and eggs, you can have one pancake as your breakfast dessert is kind of how I look at pancakes. I don't understand how people can like eat a stack of pancakes to start the day, because first off, it's time for a nap after a stack of pancakes. And second off, the stack of pancakes doesn't fill you up, and like an hour later you're kind of hungry again. So that's just I don't know, I just don't understand how people eat pancakes in the morning as their main breakfast food. And Kenny from the Cove, that granola that Darlene sent you was super ono, totally ruined me for store-bought granola. I know, Kenny. That's why I had to ask Darlene for her recipe, because after Darlene sent me a little bag of, it was really like, it was a 14,000 gallon bag, but it doesn't matter because it was not enough. It will never be enough. It was a tiny bag. Sent me the bag, and lo and behold, as soon as I ran out, which was really fast, had to order some at the grocery store. It came and, well, that granola lasted a lot longer, shall we say. And so, And so got the recipe and have made the recipe. And now I've posted the recipe so we can all be super spoiled thanks to Darlene. And hold on, wait a second. Caffeinated hold on though. So they've got cereal for Canada called Holly Crap or Holy whatever, and it's caffeinated. Who would want a caffeinated cereal? That's weird. I know, right, Andy? Pancakes. Oh, yeah. I mean, it says so right there in the label. You know, it's not like yeah. It took me only, 48 years to figure that one out, but whatever. Let's see here. Terry in Scotland, even just plain rolled oats with milk ain't bad. You love oats, okay? Yeah, I actually don't mind oats. Soak them overnight in some almond milk, and I'm good to go. Let's see here. Vanilla Coke Pepsi says that he doesn't really like breakfast, but honestly, strawberries and sour cream slaps. Okay, now I don't know what you mean by slaps. I'm going to assume it's one of those things the kids say, meaning it's super good, because I'll tell you what, strawberries and sour cream, that sounds weird, and it also sounds good. Like, I've never heard of that. But that actually sounds crazy enough that it could totally work. So yeah. It is delicious. You swear by it. Okay, I'll believe you on that one, mister. I will believe you on that one, Vanilla Coke Pepsi. Michael Anthony Smith, yes, go to sleep, rest, and we hope tomorrow you will have all the answers that you seek, or at least a vague idea of the answers that you seek. And we hope that you are going to be able to spend the next evening in your home bed. So thank you so much for hanging out tonight. I know it has been a super rough weekend for you. And yeah, I'm so glad that you've been able to hang out on the 3-hour tour for as long as you could. So get some rest. Hope to hear from you tomorrow. And hopefully tomorrow's news will be, I'm going home. That's what we want. That is exactly what we want, right? All right. For those of you who might not know, Michael Anthony Smith, not feeling so good, had to spend a couple nights in the hospital and, hanging out with us from the hospital, because what else are you going to do when you're sitting around in the hospital but sit around and chatter with the Statterbox crew. Kenny from the Cove, right? Strawberries and sour cream. I'm going to be doing that next time. Yeah. Ooh. Oh. Well, yeah, okay, Vanilla Coke Pepsi, we're going to talk about that in a second, but instead, we're just going to say goodnight to Michael for a little while because, yeah, no. And Medium 7-Up, you just found a place called Milk and Cream Bar in New York City. Oh my God. Well, I've heard of isn't the Milk Bar that one with the chick who made the cereal flavored milk? But okay. Medium 7-Up. Obviously, I'm having a hard time with my words. So tell me more about this milk and cream bar that you're talking about. And Vanilla Coke Pepsi, someone who likes mustard and gingerbread, like mustard on their gingerbread. Yeah, that you need to cut that person out of your life. I don't really know what they're all about, but they're toxic. Clearly they're toxic. Oh, get away. Hey, Elaine, good to see you. We were talking about cereal. Now we're talking about granola mostly. But whatevs. We're talking about food again, always. And so Terry in Scotland, you're a fan of steel cut oats from Bob's Red Mill, are the ultimate. Bob's Red Mill is good, but I'm also actually a really big fan. King Arthur does some good stuff too, but Bob's Red Mill is definitely the gold standard for all sorts of random graineries and random cuts of grain. Shock. Can we talk about steak now? We could talk about steak, but actually, you know what? We will in a second. But okay. So Medium 7-Up. It's not Milk Bar. It's something different. Okay. Well, then I want to hear what it is, and I hope that it's not a Milk Bar like Clockwork Orange. And Rick, in your opinion, nothing wrong with skipping breakfast. Actually, they say that they say the whole, you have to have breakfast right away, blah, blah, blah. Like that's sort of, yep, some people do and some people don't. So there you go. And then medium 7-Up milk and cream bar is a cereal and ice cream place. Oh, I want to go there. And Rick, yeah, there was a milk bar of sorts featured in Clockwork Orange, but in New York City, there's actually, I think it's a bakery and it's called Milk Bar. And I cannot remember what the chick's name is. She's a very famous cake maker. She's been on a bunch of TV competitive. She's been a judge on a bunch of competitive cooking shows, baking shows. I want to say she was one of the judges on MasterChef Junior for several years, but don't quote me on that. So, yeah. And then, so let's see here. Yes, Christina Tossi. Thank you. Medium 7-Up. Thank you. I knew her last name was Tossi and I kept wanting to say Suzanne or whatever, but it was like, but I knew that was not it. That was not it. And, yes, of course. That makes sense. And oh, of course, Picola Tea, there's a milk bar in Las Vegas. Of course. And Kenny from the Cove, I never skip breakfast. I just don't always eat it at breakfast time. That's fair. So, Shock. Now, it's so funny. I know that you had your reservations about watching Napoleon Dynamite, which is what we watched last night at Statterbox at the cinema. But regardless of the bow to your sensei part, which was very, very minimal, there was a recurring theme of steaks in that movie that I think you would appreciate. I mean, there was so much steak in that movie. People eating steak, people throwing steak, people getting hit by steak. There's a lot of steak in that movie. And so, you know, it was too bad that you weren't able to join us last night because you would have gotten your steak fill. You would have gotten your fill of steak thanks to Napoleon Dynamite. And let's see here. Darlene, coffee first thing in the morning. Really not up to eating right away in the morning. Usually don't eat your first meal till 11:30 or noon, but that's you. There you go. Actually, Darlene, apparently I was just reading the other day, the Queen of England, she starts her day with a cup of tea and one tea biscuit of the oat variety. And then a few hours later, she has her real breakfast, which is like oatmeal and fruit or something like that. So the queen is right there with you. It's just, no, I start my day with a hot beverage, perhaps something to nibble on, maybe. Yeah. Shock, you bailed on that movie the first time you were subjected to it. Yeah, you know, a lot of people can't get over the strangeness of it, but it's actually a very cute movie. And so one day you might be stuck somewhere and it's the only option. Maybe give yourself a chance to appreciate all of the steaks, all of the steaks that are in there. All right, there you go. It's a very cute movie. I mean, the folks that watched it last night, I guess actually, I don't know if everybody thought it was cute, but there was people who said that it was cute. So let's see here. Andre, yeah, it's funny, in countries that don't eat a big breakfast, usually eat a big lunch, and those that have big breakfast have small lunches. Yep, that stands to reason. And I think in America, you know, they, the idea, you know, the American breakfast is all about, you know, filling up the farmer before he goes to, you know, work in the field all day. Whereas realistically, I'm not working in the field all day. I would prefer to have like the tiny breakfast and then the bigger lunch. In fact, to me, the biggest meal should be midday. Like my body prefers the biggest meal to be midday. I don't want the big meal at the end of the day, and I certainly don't want it at the beginning of the day. And so medium 7-Up, 1, it was funnier the second time. 2, it was funnier to watch with a friend who thought it was funny. you know, it is, the more times you watch it, the funnier it does get. I will give you that, because you kind of have to get over the weirdness of it, because the movie is a little bit weird, which is why before I showed it last night, I was just like, just sit through it and watch it. Like, that you're gonna be like, what, for a little while. Like, you know, it is a little weirdo, but it's still funny. Kenny from the Cove, you start your day with meds, vitamins, and tap water. So yummy. Dude, some people... I had a doctor who prescribed me so many supplements that I swear to God, my belly was full with the meds and supplements that I needed to take for every day. Like, that was my breakfast, was a fistful of pills. I have been there, man. I have been there. Let's see here. So another movie that your youngest daughter loved was The Breakfast Club. Yeah, you know, The Breakfast Club is a cute movie. I remember seeing it in the theaters. I don't know if it's available. I feel like I did a search for that in my library, and I don't think they have it in their system, because my library is where I get a lot of the movies. Thank you, King County Library System. Let's see here. Vanilla Coke Pepsi. Napoleon Dynamite scares you. You think if you saw him, I would make him scrap me and lose purposely and give him my coat to cover his cold, creepy body. I can appreciate actually why you would think that. But he has actually grown up to be quite, like, he looks really awkward and awful and just awkward and awful in Napoleon Dynamite. But, like, now that he's a grown up, he looks like a regular dude. Like, you wouldn't, it's kind of hard to recognize, like, if I didn't know that who he has turned into is who he was, I wouldn't recognize him on the street. Or his twin brother, because apparently he has a twin brother. In fact, both Pedro and Napoleon Dynamite, the actors who play them, both have identical twin brothers. Seems really weird. Oh yeah, Rick, no, farmers ate eggs and protein for breakfast. No, they had no cereal. They didn't have any cereal, but they might have had oatmeal, and they probably had some bread. But yeah, they definitely had no, or biscuits, but they definitely had no cereal. There's no two ways about that. Kenny from the Cove, before you saw it for the first, you were hoping that breakfast would actually be shown in the Breakfast Club movie. You were naive. Yeah, no, only lunch, but I don't think Breakfast at Tiffany's shows any breakfast either. So, you know, Andre's correcting Vanilla Coke Pepsi. No, Pedro Primos would have had your coat before you even met Napoleon. Yeah, definitely. Pedro's family was they were so awesome. I loved Pedro's family. They were just like the muscle behind all of the geeks. It was so awesome. It's just such a great film about the underdogs winning in the end. So, oh, Rick, you just really, really, really are not in for cereals for the farmers, huh? The oats was for animal feed. So let's see here. Yeah, Darlene, exactly. Darlene says, if you saw the actors and actresses from that movie, you wouldn't be able to recognize them for real. There was a YouTube 15 years later of them getting together, and it was really different. Yeah, absolutely. That's where I saw the actor who played Napoleon Dynamite. Like, I wouldn't know that was the same guy. The guy who played Pedro was the closest. He looked like Pedro still. In fact, he kind of didn't look like he aged much at all. Whereas Uncle Rico definitely looked like he aged. And then Napoleon Dynamite totally looked like he went from an awkward teenage dude to like a regular man dude. Man dude. Just regular dude who's a man. Dude. So... Vanilla Coke Pixie, Blink 182 is classic rock now, according to your generation. Let that sink in. Oh, I've known that for a long time, dude. Blink 182 is, I mean, they're over 20 years old. So, I mean, they're close to 30 years old. And when I say 30 years old, I mean their music, not them. You know, they're close to my age. Yeah, absolutely, it's classic rock. So Andre says, you grew up in Oakland during the time of the Black Panthers, and the one thing that the Black Panthers got U.S. public school kids a great breakfast. They wanted to look better. The Black Panthers, so power to the people. Well, actually, not only am I agreeing, let me expand upon that. I believe it was the Black Panthers that started the trend in the U.S. school system for schools to provide meals for kids who are unable to afford the meals, not only before school but during the free lunch programs. It was the activism in the 1960s and 70s from the Black Panthers that brought that concept of kids who go to school on an empty stomach have a harder time learning or paying attention, which means they're going to have a harder time learning, which means they're already at a disadvantage. So might as well throw a bowl of cereal in their tummy before they go to, their classes. And at lunch, if they can't afford to feed them, you're going to feed them anyway. That whole concept was introduced to the public consciousness because of the Black Panthers. So as much as the Black Panthers in white or society are deemed maybe a little militant, they're actually very I mean, obviously there was some people that were, but no, it was a lot of ground level caring for the community, basic street level work for those in need. So we actually do have a lot to thank the Black Panthers for, oddly enough. So let's see here. Kenny from the Cove, look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's Man Dude and his trusty sidekick, Dude Boy, here to save the day. That is exactly it. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, Darlene, precisely. If anybody who's been hungry for a minute, let alone chronic hunger, knows that you can't concentrate when your tummy's rumbling. So, you got to get a granola bar in there or something. We're talking about granola, right? Right. So there you have it. Let's see here. So you also went to school in Berkeley, and they bust in the white kids, not the children of color. Well, I'll tell you that. I'm not, am I supposed to be shocked there, Andre? I'm not so sure I am shocked, even though, yeah, that's how that was. Berkeley is a fairly well-to-do community, as it were, or at least it was back in those days. So yeah, speaking though of well-to-do communities, today I decided to go out on a last minute trip. Pacola Tea, I was just about to segue into that. So today I had to do some work errands, and I decided the sun came out for a minute, so I decided to do a last minute jaunt down to the beach. So we have one beach in my town, even though my town literally borders on the Puget Sound the entire length of my town borders on the Puget Sound on the west-hand side. That's what is the west border. It's saltwater. But most of that land is inaccessible due to landscape and geography. Other than the rest of it, for the most part, is privately owned land. There's very little public access shoreline for the city of Burien. And we have one park that is legal for people in my city to go to. Many, many streams ago, I took you to an illegal park that was outside of my town, technically, and I wasn't supposed to be there because I didn't belong there. This park, I am allowed to be there. You're allowed to be there. So we aren't breaking any laws. And yeah, I thought I would take this little jaunt, and I threw this together right before Andy's stream. So this is definitely a slapdash situation, and there's some reflection issues because I'm filming from the inside of my windshield, and this was a spur of the moment thing, so I didn't clean my windshield as well as I should have. But anyway, so this is not a work of art, but this is a very pretty park, and I thought that I would share it with you guys. So let's get it started. Alrighty, so that was just a little spur of the moment project I threw together literally last minute. Thank you so much, everyone, for the biddies. Medium 7-Up. I'm loving the little the little rainbow zebra or whatever we're gonna call it. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So yeah, that is the little park, and there is an upper parking lot area. I considered going through it, but I decided not to because it doesn't loop and I would have had to back up, and like, you guys know what a parking lot looks like. So, I'm not really gonna show you the parking lot. But actually though, it is, it is springing up, as it were, but for the most part, there's not very many leaves on any trees. The green is just the evergreens, and then the green leaves that you might have seen in the forest, that's English ivy that's growing up and strangling and killing the native trees. So for the most part, it's always green. It's always green in the evergreen state, no matter what season, either from the evergreen trees like the cedars and the Douglas firs, or from the blackberries that align the side of the road, or the English ivy that is climbing up all of the other trees. And I know that we're talking about rookfoot here, but Darlene says not natural habitat at Pocola T, and that's exactly it. The English ivy is not in its natural habitat, but the Pacific Northwest and England have a similar enough growing system and climate. That's the word I'm looking for. So English ivy has made itself right at home. Yes, right at home. Andre, thank you so much for the 200 biddies. It looks like we completed the level 1 hype train, so we're on level 2. You guys are just so awesome. I'm so thankful for everything. And I'm very thankful for letting you, for you guys putting up with my learning how to do some video things. And for the most part, most of my learning is, oh, don't do it like that again. Oh, next time you do that, you're going to want to change that up. So there's a whole lot of, oh, yeah, that would have been good if. So thank you so much for putting up with the, good try. So, Darlene, but you did see green grass growing. Our grass not green here yet. Okay, well, Darlene, Our grass is only green over the winter. Once July hits, it turns brown and nobody waters their grass here. That's just not what we do. And so from July basically through October to November, it's just brown grass on the side of the road. And then from like November through June-ish, then everybody's grass is green. So the grass doesn't the grass doesn't die over the winter. The grass grows over the winter. I know it doesn't make sense, but there you go. So let's see here. Thank you, Darlene. Exactly. Practice makes perfect. And you guys get to watch the practice. And Andre, thank you so much for the rainbow assortment of all the little bitties going. You've got the little happy, sad, cry face and the snowman, the heart, which I think is a unicorn. That's what Medium 7-Up said, and all the other things. So super happy that we've got that hype train going on still. No worries about taking it any further because just hitting a level 1 is super, super awesome. In fact, I'm going to have to do something that is probably not very classy, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to throw down some emotes of my own. That's right, because I'm super stoked. So, let's see here, Picola T. Your mistakes make you the most human we know. That's why we love ya. Yeah, there we go. Thank you so much, Picola T. And actually, these mistakes are being made. Well, okay, they're not being made on purpose, but they're being made openly and in the spirit of hoping that you guys can do something like this or nothing like this, but something you want to do, be it photography, be it learning how to color better, learning how to paint, learning how to draw, learning how to video edit, learning how to take pictures, learning how to write a book, whatever it is that you guys like want to maybe throw down your hat in the ring and see what you can do. By all means, like that's what this stream is hopefully going to encourage you guys to do, because I don't know what I'm doing and I'm still doing it. And so if you don't know what you're doing, well, so what? Still go do it. Just not to steal from Nike, but just do it. Just do it, man. You don't have to share with the public, the world like I do. But if you do want to share with the public or the world, by all means, start your own stream. Or if you don't want to do that, share them with me and I'll share your happy little mistakes with everybody, as long as you give me permission to share your happy little mistakes with everybody. And let's see here. Andre, we've seen some crazy stuff with Andy during the dark days of lockdown, so we know it's part of the process. Yeah, it is. Well, and then not only is it really like part of the process, seriously, a live stream is live. And live is live. So when you accidentally press the wrong button and the stream might stop as soon as you unpress the button, that's just what happens sometimes when things are live, right? So, and Rick, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. Absolutely. I don't know if John Lennon said it, but you say that he did, so we'll say he did. And yeah, that's basically, it's sort of a offshoot of, how do you make God laugh? Start making plans. So let's see here. Kenny from the Cove. That's what's cool about Statter. Mistakes are possible, but giving up ain't gonna happen. Well, who knows? Some huge mistake might end up making me say, oh, I don't know if this was meant to be. But so far, all the little mistakes are we'll call them happy accidents. I don't know if they're necessarily happy accidents, but we'll call them that. Certainly better than the accident that I had when I hit a house. We're not going to get into that detail. But that wasn't such a happy accident when I hit a house with my car. Yeah, with my car. But, I jumped in front of me. I swear it jumped in front of me, got in my way, right? My way. Let's see here. So, and okay, well, Andre, that's a good point. When I did hit the house, I did get to walk away. So that is a happy little accident that way. And I know, Carl, right? When houses actually like decide that they're the ones who need to be center stage and they like jump in the way to get your attention. No, it's not. Yeah, no. Pacola T, tell us about the choker that you're wearing. I usually wear the Honu pendant. Yes, this is a gift that I've been given, or the little pieces are phases of the moon pendants that came on different strands, necklaces, I guess. And they didn't, the necklaces were such fine material that they were invisible on my skin. And I didn't like that. It looked stupid. So I just switched out some leather cords. And the other night when I don't know what I was doing the other night. I think I was watching Andy's show and I was fiddling with things and I came up with this little combo and I thought it kind of looked cute. And so I thought I'd wear this little cute combo with my little star, my constellation shirt. And so I've got the little moon phases and then I got the constellations. So it's just a starry night today. And Andre asks, and you've never hit another house again, right? Or have you? No, I have not. But I can tell you. Oh, of course Terry says that all the time with things that just jump in front of Terry. Terry knows exactly what I'm talking about with things that just randomly get in the way of the party bus. Totally. But no, did not hit the same house twice, did not hit another house twice, did not hit houses 2 times. No. However, my doctor, or not my doctor, but growing up, there was a doctor that lived up the street from me. And not only did he hit a house once, he hit a house twice. But not only did he hit a house twice, he hit the same house twice. So, yeah. And it was the same owner both times. I can't even imagine what that would be like to have a car hit my house once, let alone twice, and then have it be the same guy. Are you kidding me? I mean, he was a brilliant anesthesiologist, but don't trust him. Don't trust him behind the wheel. He was not a good driver, clearly. Now, I'm not trying to be judgmental. And, after all, I did hit a house, so I really shouldn't be judgmental. But I'm going to be judgmental and say, yeah, no, you don't need to get behind the wheel with that guy. He's not a good driver. He is not a good driver. Yeah, exactly, Andre. Don't bring the laughing gas home with you in the car going home. I don't know what. I don't know. I mean, how do you... Okay, I still drive in the neighborhood that the house is that I hit. I mean, I still drive past it at least twice a week. And every time I drive by that house, it's just like, okay, I got to be really careful. I don't want, I sort of put extra effort into making sure I don't hit the house, even though, really, it's really not that hard not to hit a house, but apparently for some of us it is. So to hit the same house twice, I just don't know. And Pacola T, yeah, did the anesthesiologist fall asleep at the wheel? I hope so. Right? I mean, really. Would you rather know that somebody is consciously and awake and purposefully that bad at driving? Or would you rather have it just be like, oh, they fell asleep? I mean, honestly, I think I'd rather have it they fell asleep. Right? And so, But this topic of conversation, Andre is talking about somebody had a car fall into their pool 2 times. That sucks. And Medium 7-Up's like, the same car? Which definitely would have been impressive, but no, apparently not. So so I've got a video. I don't know where it's at. Otherwise, I would actually show it to you guys. I have a video where you see where I grew up. And gosh, maybe I should just see if I can find the video. Anyway, you see the house that I grew up in. The house that I grew up in was at the bottom of a really tall hill. And that really tall hill was a great sledding hill. Because it was at the end of a dead-end neighborhood. There was no drive-through traffic, and it was one of the biggest hills in the area, and not a lot of traffic. But there were people who lived at the top of the hill who had to get to the top of the hill to get home from work, even though it was snowy. So this one guy, Mr. Luring, I remember, he currently owns a McDonald's in Sunnydale, Washington. I went there just a few years ago and walked in and I was like, oh my God, it's the Lurings. I totally recognized them. And anyway, Mr. Luring drove, let's see, now which one did he do first? He had 2 cars. He had a gold Lincoln Continental, and then he had a little red sports car. And I think the little red sports car was a front wheel drive. So I think, no, definitely. It was a front wheel drive, and it was the first one. When it snowed, he knew that the Lincoln didn't handle things well. So he used the little car. Coming home one night, he didn't get enough speed to get up the hill. And so he gets almost to the top, and then the little red car just down the hill, crashes into the snow embankment, totally won't be getting out of the snow embankment until melt. So he's like, well, that sucks. And nobody was hurt. And so he gets out of the car, walks up the hill, goes home, whatever. Well, the next day he had to go to work. So he took the gold Lincoln Town car to work. And the next night, coming home from work, he didn't make it up the hill. And he goes down and he crashes into his little red car at the bottom of the hill, thereby totaling the little red car at the bottom of the hill, because the Lincoln was huge and the little red car was just a little red car. I don't remember what it was, but it doesn't matter. And so, yeah, he had to explain to the insurance company just how that happened. And, yeah, so little red car didn't exist after that. No, little red car didn't exist after that one. Yeah, Andre, exactly. Can you imagine explaining this to your insurance? He had to. It literally, and actually my family got to watch it because his cars landed in the ditch right across the street from our house. And so it was some good laughs, actually. It was some good laughs. So, let's see here. Darlene, let's see, is saying to Andre, there's a house like that by one daughter and now have a huge rock border, huge rocks, so people won't crash into their house anymore. It's on a turn and people were ripping around the corner too fast. Yeah, it's usually on a corner like that, or if I've also seen houses that have been hit that are like at T stops, and they're, so you've got the T stop and their house is like here, and people don't realize that the street doesn't go all the way through. Like you have to either go this way or this way. And if you go this way, you end up in the Smith's living room. So, I've seen houses that get hit like that too. So, oh, Pacola T, you don't know if you could bear to live at the house at Pooh Corner. Sounds too dangerous. Well, I don't know, Andre. Okay, so you're saying it's time for a moat to protect your house, Perhaps, but in a way, I mean, I wouldn't. Okay, so it would protect your house, right? But you still have the hassle of somebody's car is now in your flippin' moat. I'd rather have somebody's car just like hung up on my rock wall, right? All right, medium 7 up. It is late over there on the East Coast, and you probably have some school to teach tomorrow. So good hanging out. Thank you so much for chilling tonight. I will see you hopefully on Tuesday. Andy Boomatai's Daily Pigeon Live. And yeah. So let's see here. Okay. So I know that this is a topic of much consternation amongst the entire world, but I don't care. I'm going to touch it. I'm going to bring you the most important news that we have coming out of Russia. That's right. You know what it is. We're going to watch the latest about the big kitty. Uh-oh. First, we're going to watch ads. And then we're going to watch information about Luna the Pantera. Because Luna is so pretty. And this is the only news out of Russia that matters right now. Is what the big kitty and the big Rottweiler are doing. That is the only news out of Russia that matters right now. And as you can see these pictures are taken in Siberia, and as you can see, the landscape is kind of similar to the Pacific Northwest in the sense that it's not a lot of land between mountains or between, what am I trying to say? It doesn't take too long for you to go inland before a great elevation increase. So it's, deep slope into the water area. And this is one of the places that they like to play. And so I don't know if Luna plays with the Russian puma that has a YouTube channel. My best guess is she doesn't, because it seems like Luna is pretty fearful of a lot of things other than the Rottweiler. And then also, Russia's huge. So just because they're both in Russia doesn't necessarily mean they're close to each other. On the other hand, maybe they are neighbors because, crazy cat ladies, and you've got to be a crazy cat lady to have a cat like that. And I say that as a crazy cat lady. So we're not necessarily going to watch this whole video, but I just wanted to let you guys know that some important work is being done by Luna and Venza, the Rottweiler. They're examining the shoreline, checking out the trees. Siberia is so far from the water. It is one of the coldest regions in the world. Yes, it is one of the coldest regions in the world, but oddly enough, this water that you can see, even though it is a river, doesn't freeze over during the winter because this water is coming from a reservoir. There's a dam that's a little bit further upriver. And so the water in that reservoir just being stagnant and not stagnant, but sitting there, warms up a lot and keeps that section of river from freezing, apparently. I learned that from watching another one of their videos. So, and it's a huge dam too. And because people were asking, like, why isn't this river frozen? Because normally rivers in Siberia are frozen, right? Not this one. Not this one. I don't really know if I like that angle. I would be scared. I know, Darlene. Yeah, the doggy has all sorts of fun too. Totally. I love these videos. It's just so stupid, but I can't help it. It's a big kitty and it's a big black kitty. So I just thought I'd share with you guys the little rabbit hole that I sometimes find myself going down. Now, see, you can tell, hey, OG Sumo Vibe, good to see you. I'm showing off the little big cat video that I dream I ever have. I dream I have a cat like this, but I don't. I don't really have a cat like that, which is why we watch videos of it. Kenny, I don't think so. Kenny's wondering if Luna's gonna get any bigger. I don't think so, because she looks to be pretty full grown. They've had her for a couple years now, so I think she's probably as full grown as she's gonna get, and so let's see here. I don't even know. I don't even know where the kitty is, but there's the person trying to go down to the ice pack, basically. So that little iceberg thing that's in the foreground, that is clearly a stream that normally during the summer months is you know, flows into that larger river, but it has since frozen over. And there's the king of the mountain, Venza the dog. Yes. All right. So, okay, Darlene. Yeah, you definitely need to go. You got a warning on your phone. Gonna die if you don't get off. All right. So habut, but you gotta leave. Gotta do what you gotta do. So let's see here. Oh, Andre, you just did some research. The puma Messi from Russia lives closer to Moscow. So yeah, no play date for sure. But yeah, so for those of you who when I showed earlier videos of this particular cat and her Rottweiler brother, or actually sister, I think they're both girls. You know, it's sort of awful when you think like, oh my goodness, dude, you know, they live in an apartment, because they do. But as you can see, they don't just live in an apartment, right? I mean, they go out to let the animals do their wild thing. So yeah, Darlene, yes, thank you so much. So thank you so much for the biddies and for hanging out today. I hope you have a great weekend, rest of your weekend, and hope to see you on Tuesday, Daily Pigeon Live with Andy Bumatai. And let's see here. I think I might just stop this now, because I was expecting a commercial to come on. I was just thinking we could watch this till the first ad, but they haven't shown an ad yet. So we're just gonna stop this video. We're just gonna stop it. And there we go. There she is. There she is. And speaking of the food bill, here, we'll watch another one. Oh, whoops, this is the wrong one. Oh, well, this one's super quick. I thought this was going to be the one well, I'll tell you in a minute what I thought. But as you can see, oh yeah, see, there we go. That's what I thought it was. What's the food bill like? I don't know, but they eat raw meat. They eat those bones, those raw meat bones. So, let's see here. All right, Picola T, heading out. Good to see you. Thank you so much for hanging out. Hope to see you on Tuesday. If you can't see you on Tuesday, hope to see you on Wednesday. And let's see here. Rick, poor cat, probably doesn't know it's a big cat. No, I don't know if it really does. I think that she just thinks that, you know, she's probably a big dog, basically. And, Andre, okay, so the puma, the other Russian kitty has a huge house and a yard, and she is a runt of a puma. Gotcha. These folks do have, so they've got the folks that have Luna, the Panthera, They have two houses. They have their apartment, but they also have like a country cabin, and the country cabin, is near a ranch with some horses and things like that. I think I showed a video of part of the, of that area where, because the cat is super afraid of the horses. The cat is super afraid of the horses, which is kind of cute. They're big monsters as far as she's concerned. So, so let's see here. Andre's saying it's Siberia so they could hunt. You mean the pumas could hunt, or the panther could hunt? Or do you mean the... Who could hunt? Who could hunt what? What do you mean? What do you mean, Andre? Oh, the people who get the meat from hunting. Gotcha. Oh shoot. Uh-oh, you guys, the show's almost over. And I just realized my background music wasn't on. Sorry about that, guys. We could have had music this whole time. Wasn't even paying attention. And Andre, the people could get the meat from hunting. Got it. I don't know if they're hunters. I mean, you know, in theory, I could get my meat from hunting too, because there's hunting grounds less than an hour from where I live, but I don't want to go hunting. Oh, Kenny from the Cove, you're going to head out. All right. Well, thank you so much for hanging out. Allergies are kicking your tuchus. 'Tis the season to be sneezing. Fa la 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 la. Yeah, I suppose maybe in Texas it might be getting to be a little bit more springtimey, a little more pollen floating in the air. So get yourself my allergy, what I call as an allergy speedball, which is a Benadryl and a Sudafed. And I don't know if a doctor would tell you that that's the worst thing in the world to do for you, but my allergy speedballs always work. The Sudafed pops you up, Benadryl brings you down, so you kind of like just stay in the middle, and it totally works. So there you go. There you go. So, well, Andre, you know, there's lots of hunters in Siberia, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're friends with them, and it doesn't necessarily mean that the hunters have extra meat to be just given out. I know that a lot of folks in my area who hunt, you know, they actually hunt for sustenance. Like they ain't giving their food away. You know, that's in my freezer for the next year for a reason, to feed my family. So, I'm certainly not going to give it to a cat. On the other hand, now that I think about it, though, the big bones probably would be something they would be willing to give away, because a lot of the hunters I know don't use the bones. So, because the bones are really big. I mean, you think, oh, let's make some soup with the bones. Well, okay, but do you have like a 55-gallon drum to put the bones in? Because that's what you're going to need to fit the... I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever seen elk bone. But, you know, we're talking this big around, and that's just the shaft of it, not even the ends of it. You know, you can't... And it takes a very sharp and powerful saw to cut through those bones. So you can't really just, you know, make... Like cow bones that we use for soup, you know, they go through butchers that have specialized saws to cut them tiny so they can fit in our pots. The hunters don't do that. The hunters don't have those. Alrighty, well, it looks like we might need to just wind this up this evening. Everybody had their sugar rush from the cereal talk, and now it's time maybe to just chill out, wind it down, and close up the starter box for the day. We're almost at the bottom of the hour. I wish I had another video to show, but I do not. And so I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out today on the almost 3-hour tour. we're gonna call it the 3-hour tour anyway. And that's it, Andre. We were a bunch of serial killers. If I had some cereal, I'd probably go get a bowl of it right now because I'm kind of hungry. But I already had my granola today, so I don't need another. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for hanging out. I want to remind you that next Saturday on Statterbox at the Cinema, we are going to be playing Roll Bounce. And before we wrap things up, actually, maybe we can talk about one other thing. And if we don't have to talk about it, but definitely somebody clue me in. When is daylight savings time happening? When are we moving the clocks? Because I need to figure out something to do with, we need to figure out what works best for everybody with the timing of things and stuff. And so, I'm just wondering what the final countdown might be, right? You know, like, when do we have to decide this by? When does the time actually change? Because we're going to be springing forward, right? Which means we'll be 3 hours difference from Hawaii. Oh, I'm glad we're having this conversation then. So it's next Sunday, March 13th. Oh, wow. I'm really glad we're having this conversation today. We probably should have had this conversation earlier, but we didn't. Okay. So this coming Saturday. All right. So what I was thinking of doing, and I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but this is what I was thinking of doing. So on Sundays, I don't know if Andy wants to start an hour earlier, and I'm going to guess no, because 1:30 is already earlier than his usual. And then it'll be 3 hours difference, so instead of 2. So if I went on right after Andy, it would be 6 p.m. West Coast time, which means Saturday and Sunday, the shows would be starting at 6 p.m. And then on Wednesday, the show could start at 5 p.m. That is what I was thinking. Does that make sense to you guys? What do you guys think? What are your thoughts on this? We don't have to decide today, but we will be talking about it on Wednesday, 5 p.m. West Coast time, this coming Wednesday. So yeah, that's that. So think on that so we can have a topic, we can have a conversation about what works and what doesn't work, and our dreams and our hopes for the future, the near future, the daylight savings time future, you know, that future. So, oh, wait, hold on. See Honda. Well, right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It would be 4:30 West Coast time for Andy. Right. And then an hour and a half later would be 6 p.m., which would be when I would start. So assuming that Andy's not changing his schedule, which why should he? Why should he? His clock ain't changing, right? So I was assuming that Andy's Sunday time would remain stable. And then I would just adjust my time to follow, carry on with the 3-hour tour. It just is going to be on at 6 p.m. instead of 5 p.m. So that's my logic. And obviously I should probably talk to Andy about this as well. See Honda, though, you probably have a little insight into that. So, yeah, Andre, Andy in Arizona don't change time. True, but nobody's streaming out of Arizona right now that I'm following, so I don't have to worry about Arizona. So, yeah, so tentatively speaking, and we'll nail this down on Wednesday. I'm really glad we're having this conversation because I really thought it was like another couple weeks before this daylight savings time thing was happening. So yeah, on Wednesday, let's like nail this down. But tentatively speaking, I'm thinking, famous last words, I'm thinking, the show Statterbox at the Cinema, Chatter with Statter, Saturday 6 p.m., Sunday 6 p.m., Chatter with Statter on Wednesday would be 5 p.m. Or should I just be all on 6? See, I don't know. 3 6s, that's not bad. I'm okay with that. Other people might not be, but I'm okay with it. So, yeah. But 6 p.m. might be too late for the East Coast people on weeknights. So, see, I just don't know. Yeah. So, that's what I'm thinking about. That's what's churning and burning in my brain these days. So, yeah, if you want to churn and burn in your brain, then we'll figure it out. And see, Honda, you think he's keeping it, but if you would keep your Sunday spot, maybe he would go earlier. Yeah, maybe. And obviously, Andy'd be the one to have this conversation with, but I don't think that he would want to go on at noon 30. I mean, his time, I don't know how I feel about asking him to go on any earlier. I think it would be, I really don't know what I think actually, but yeah, there we go. So, you know, put a pin on it. Let's just talk about it on Wednesday. And perhaps by Wednesday I will have more firm opinions about what the heck it is I want to do with my life and what time frame I want to do it in. Until then, it's almost 6:30, so I guess we probably should wrap it up. So thank you so much for hanging out on this 3-hour tour. So glad we were able to be serial killers together, and I'm glad you were able to put up with my little springtime jaunt to the waterfront. And yeah, hopefully we can do it sometime again, say Wednesday. All right then. I hope you take care. Have a good one.